unless they're teaching that that's okay to shtup them.
No.
You know, it's like that's but because then they're going to
No, they're just weak.
No, that's got nothing to do with it. See, this is the misconception. This is where priorities are messed up in a lot of Jewish people,
right.
Because they think
stopping a congregant is the worst.
They think that's worse than thinking that
they
think the Rebbe's Mashiach. That's not so bad. But oh my God, the guy shtupped the secretary, the soul. Oh my God, right? But it's ass backwards. Yeah. Because the guy who shtupped, he does an Avera once in a while, right? It's like he has a good time, right? But at least his core ideas of what Judaism are kosher.
Yeah.
The other one may be like it's tzaddik, right? But he's not following Judaism. Mm-hmm. His ideas upstairs are wrong. That's why I talked about what makes a person from. What's the bottom line in Torah observancy, right? What makes it's keeping Shabbos, keeping kosher, keeping family purity, right? And having the right Torah core values. And you could do those three things. I think I mentioned this tonight. But you don't have the right core values, right? And you think that this dead rabbi is coming back as the Messiah. That's a problem. You're not following Judaism. That you're not from.
The Torah isn't exactly obsessed with vice. Like, there's nothing in the Torah against doing drugs, smoking, alcohol's okay. You shouldn't commit adultery, incest, or male homosexuality. But it's not obsessed with what we call in America today vice. Like, it's obsessed with don't take God's name in vain, don't commit murder, but it's not obsessed with the vices.
Well, not exactly. Can I?
Go for it.
Okay. There are 4 types of illicit sexual relationships that Torah has a really big problem with, that even non-Jews are not allowed to be involved in. One is homosexual act between males.
Yes.
Torah hates that.
Yes.
You know what I hate to hear? I hate to hear when someone says Jewish values allow us to celebrate gay pride parade. No, they don't. Jewish values are the Torah, and the Torah hates the male homosexual act, right?
Yes.
So that should not be celebrated.
Yes.
Bestiality, well, that's not a big player anymore, but it used to be.
Incest.
Incest, not,
Adultery.
And adultery, and of course, what's adultery? Because they said, oh, Bill Clinton committed adultery. No, he didn't.
Right.
You're allowed to have more than one wife, according to Torah. Adultery is...
It's only sex with a married Jewish woman.
No, a married woman. If you're a non-Jew, a married woman.
But, well, yeah, but that's not adultery in the way the Torah's talking about. It's only talking about...
No, for the no-hide laws. There were no Jews back then.
Ah, yeah.
A non-Jew is not...
Yeah.
If someone... Okay, the question is, what does married mean? Because there's no official marriage. There's no official marriage in the non-Jewish world, right? But if the guy takes her and brings her into his house, right? That's his wife, right? Okay, it doesn't have to they're living together. No. They're married. Okay, they're technically married according to Torah. Right. Now, if a guy bangs this guy's girlfriend who he's living with, that could be a problem. Now, what's interesting, in places like Texas, I think you're allowed, or you used to be allowed to blow the guy's head off if you catch them in bed in your own house.
Yeah.
That would work with the Ben Noachide laws, because that's guilty of the death penalty. That's guilty of the death penalty. Anyways, I'm digressing. Well, let's get back to the Torah portion.
So this week we're studying the Torah portions of Matot and Masei, and I'm looking at Numbers chapter 31, verse 54, and so this is after Israel's had this big victory. They haven't lost anyone,
right?
And all the women who are old enough who have known a man are put to death. But the
which pasuk? You said 31 what?
54.
Okay, because 31 18 was the one that I thought you were going to talk about.
Go ahead.
No, I just was...
I want you to play me. Pretend.
No! You're going to go, so what's going on here? I have to do an Australian voice. Say, what's going on here?
This is great, but spare every young woman who's not had carnal relations with a man. So
right.
Spare all the virgins. So, what that's connected to exactly what I was talking about. What's up with that, Rabbi?
Okay, here's what's going on. First of all, we need to understand what's really going on. The Gamora, I think it's in Gittin, I think it's 60a. I had to look this up because I wanted to be ready for Andy.
Right.
I knew you were going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Gamora's, I think it's Gittin 60a, don't quote me, says that, explains over here what's going on. It's not virgins, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on is like this. First they brought in all the women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first can I take it all the way from the top?
Yes.
The rules of engagement in war are that you have to you don't kill the women and children.
Mm-hmm.
That's the normal rules of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
You don't kill the women and children.
Mm-hmm.
So they went and they annihilated all the men. They practiced genocide on every guy who's, I guess, 13 and over.
Yeah.
They wiped out all the men.
Yeah.
Then they brought back all the women and children.
Yeah.
Okay, and Moshe went, no. This is not in the normal rules of engagement. God wants total annihilation. So you have to kill
the women, because they were seducing the Jewish men.
right. These women seduced the Jewish guys. But only, remember, we talked about this last week, there was only 24,000 women who did that. And there was more women than that. Not every woman did that, right? So it doesn't matter. They're all going down, right? Every single woman who is of the age that she can have sex, right? She's able to do it.
Yeah.
She's going to be killed.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter if she's actually had sex or not. Virgins are going to die too.
Yeah.
So even a virgin who, let's say, a 14, 15-year-old virgin is going to get killed in this thing.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that she never had sex with these guys. So there's like different categories of women.
Yeah.
There's the women who actually were with the Jewish guys.
Yeah.
Right? There were the women who've had sex before, but not with Jewish guys. They don't know what they're missing. Right? There was the women who've never had sex before. They're virgins, but they're over, let's say, 12 years old, or 11 and a half, or whatever it is that their cutoff is, right? We're going to get to this in a second. And then there was the young girls who were under 11 who were virgins. It's funny that, it never talks about, and nowhere in the Gamora it said, what about the girls under 11 who had sex? But we're going to get into this. So those are the four groups. Now, all the women who've had sex, whether it was with Jews or not, are killed for sure. And all the women who are who are old enough to have sex, even though they're virgin, they get killed. So the way they did it is like, how are they going to figure out these women are old enough? Because they're all virgins.
Yeah.
How are you going to know if they're old enough to have sex or not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, how would you know looking at them?
Yeah.
So they brought out this plate.
The frontlet of the high priest.
Yeah, they brought out this frontlet. Oh, you know the story.
They cross-examined her. And whoever slept with a man, her face will be pale.
No, it doesn't have to be that he slept with a man. It just has to be that she's able to sleep with a man.
And whoever has not slept with a man, her face will blush like a fire, and you shall spare. I'm just reading from the Jewish Publication Society.
Well,
one of Rabbi's favorite publications.
Trash it. Because Rashi even says it. Rashi says it, and I put him against 200 of your JPSs. Rashi says that they would put it out, and if the girl was capable, at the age where she was capable of having sex, she was physically able to do it, they would turn green. The plate would turn green, right? And they would kill her. And if it didn't turn green, then she's like not capable of having sex yet, and they save her. And that's Rashi. And I was ready for you.
That would have been a pretty good job, right? To be holding up the frontlet.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I mean, if you're a carnal man, not as spiritually developed as the rabbi and I. But.
Right.
Now, there's a Midrash here
that
when the Israelites stripped the Midianite women of their ornaments, they did not violate their persons. So, we saw their daughters pretty and beautiful, delicate and tender, and we unfastened the garlands, the gold crowns from their heads, rings from their ears, necklaces from their necks, chainlets from their arms, chains from their hands, signet rings from their fingers, clasps from their breasts. Nevertheless, not one of us was joined with one of them in this world, so as not to be with her in Gehenna, in the world to come. May this stand up in our favor on the day of great judgment, to make atonement for us before the Lord. So as the Israelites were stripping the Midianite women of their gold and their ornaments and the clasps on their breasts, they didn't fall into any kind of hanky-panky, according to this Midrash. So I'd like to think that I would have been strong enough that you put me in a room, 500 Midianite women, and my job is to take the the ornaments off them and the clasps off their breasts and little things here and like the piercings in interesting areas, that I would have just taken out those piercings